what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Welcome back to The Razor's Edge, where today we've got Ronnie of Those Damn Crows with us. Ronnie, how's it going?
Yeah, good man. Very, very well. On the road, loving life. It's awesome.
Excellent. So, before we talk about Those Damn Crows, your tour, your new album, can we just jump back in time to before the days of the band? How did you first get into music?
Oh man, that's a really good question. My dad was a drummer. I'm going to try and make it as quick as possible. My dad was a professional drummer, played with some amazing artists, did shows, jazz, big bands, etc. So I got to sit in the pit. But he never wanted me to be a drummer. Always tried to encourage me to do everything else besides music.
Yeah.
It was my music teacher, Mr. Jones, Peter Jones, and we were in school. And I remember my dad chose geography for me rather than music. And my music teacher marched into geography, had a word with my geography teacher, dragged me out, took me to the music room. There was a load of boxes there. And he said, your first lesson is to unpack them. And it was a drum kit. And he bought it out the school budget and set it all up. He tuned it, helped me tune it with the piano. And then we jammed all afternoon. And from there, then I started jamming with Shane, who was in school with me, because he was always on keyboards. He was always playing guitar. So yeah, it's just like it was meant to be. Like,
Excellent. And did you have any experience of drumming from obviously your dad was a drummer? Did he teach you anything before that even happened, or was that?
No, it's a funny one with the old man. Like I said, he's taught loads of great drummers and stuff, but I don't know. I used to go on in the intervals of like big shows and stuff. So he might do a matinee or something, and then I'd go on his drum kit, and he'd come up and give me a bit of a bollocking, like, he'd be like, "Stop it,"
Yeah.
And then we would sit there, and he would strip the whole kit apart. And I think his methodology wasn't great for me as a kid. He would just sit there with a snare drum, a pair of sticks, and just. It was really good now I look back, and I could kick my own backside, but it would just be rudiments of Mama Dada, Mama Dada, Mama Dada, which is your doubles. And I just wanted to play Green Day, or I wanted to play Nirvana. And so that was the bottom line. I was just so impatient, and I just wanted to jam, where like he was, now I look back, trying to teach me the basics. But not even like putting a tom or a cymbal or anything exciting there. Like, it's just me and a snare drum. Learn all your rudiments, and then you can move on. And he'd add the drum, but we never got that far. I think he hit my hand once because my ADHD kicked in, and I kind of wandered off, and he hit my hand with a drumstick, and I run downstairs, told my mum. I was like, I'm never learning the drums off him, and that was it. And just sat in my bedroom with loads of pillows then, and kind of self-taught myself. So yeah.
And so you mentioned you were jamming with Shane at school. Is that really where Those Damn Crows formed?
I think initially, yeah, seeds were planted there because we used to jam in our school breaks. Like I said, it wasn't very like a music driven school, so it's not like we had this massive music department like they do now with recording studios. It was literally just this bog standard music room with a piano, some keyboards around, but no like computers or anything. It was we used to record, and like we were encouraged to record like with a little tape recorder and stuff, and put a piece of paper in front of it. And then we did like a gig in our local memorial hall. We were playing stuff, yeah, just weird stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Like old covers, Beatles.
Yeah.
And then that evolved into a proper rock band. Like we were in, and then we went straight to London. So when we went to college, the first idea was, let's get out of Wales, let's go and play London, let's do showcases. And we did really well. We were doing stuff like Pepsi charts, and so really good showcases, good gigs up in London. Sound Republic back in the day, I think it was called. And and that was the ideology. And then we kind of went different ways, and like I got more into like punk rock and like, you know, rock music and stuff. So I wanted to go down a harder route and stuff. And then we just met back up with those damn crows, and I think the timing was perfect. Shane had lost his dad. I'd lost my mum. He wanted some drums on a track that he was writing. And then he was asking me and Shiner what we were up to, because Shiner was in like one of our old bands, and it kind of evolved from there. Me and Shiner were like, "Oh, this is what we've been demoing," and etc. etc. And then we've been jamming with Lloyd. And I was a bit like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do another band again," because like every band would get to so far, and then someone bloody leaves, or you know, there's always some drama in a band. But yeah, I think everything happens for a reason, and then we did the Crows, and I think we're all in the right headspace to do it. We've learned a lot now. We've been together for 10 years, and just in a really good place, bro, where I think we can, as adults, and we've all got families, we just talk. We just talk. And I think that's really important. So when someone's having a bad day, you know, you're respectful of them having a bad day, or you just try and support them rather than kind of bitch them, or as you do immaturely and throughout your music. It happens in bands, though, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, look, you know, this is happening, rather than sitting down and just chatting about it, and just being honest and talking. So I think, yeah, it's everything happens for a reason. I'm starting to believe that, and it's just weird how we all came back together, and everything just started to snowball and get better and better and better and better, and we are where we are now. So it's yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and you mentioned you've been going for over a decade now. Did you ever
Yeah.
think Crows would last that long?
Not at first, because I didn't really want to put too much pressure on myself. I always found with like previous bands, I would be overdriven, as in like, you know, it would send me mental. Just making sure everyone comes to the band practice, everyone does this, and just like always thinking, why haven't we got this gig? Why haven't we got this support? Why haven't we got this sorted? Where I find with this band, I just want to enjoy being in a room with the other guys, and I never really took anything for granted. I always thought, well, I'll enjoy this now because we might not be doing this next week, or we might not be doing this next month. And it just snowballed, like I said to you. You know, we're the same with any band. You know, people think that we've been handed stuff, but we haven't. We have really, really, really worked hard for this. But there's been minimum moaning, which I've loved about the boys. Nobody really moans. It's, you know, we've gone in a band for, like I said, days. Not for a tour now, just for one gig, and like to leave Wales to whether we go to the other end of Scotland or we go to the other end of Ireland for 50 quid or whatever we got paid. It's like, you know, there's never it's always the fact of it's a gig. We need to do that gig and let's go. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a great place to be when you've got that mentality, like, so, and the belief. And I think Shane brought a lot of that as well, where he was just like, he'd had a break away from, say, the industry stuff that was in my head, and just had a fresh look and a challenge to it, which then helps other people. So I think everybody's helped each other in one way or another in this band. There's a lot of psychology that goes on, never mind just the music, like, you know.
Absolutely. So you're about to release your fourth album as Those Damn Crows, God Shaped Hole.
Mhm.
I've
Yes.
had it the last few days. I'm loving it. So how happy are you with this album?
Oh man, I'm over the moon. I know it's like the generic, oh, this is our best album, but I genuinely think it's our best album so far, which is a great thing because we should be evolving, like, you know. So I think Inhale Exhale was exciting. It had the dark elements, it had the light elements. It brought a different dynamic to the live show. When you mix that in with like stuff from Point of No Return and Murder and the Motive, it was quite a nice, you know, like when they say like a festival set list, it's got that kind of journey when you perform. And I feel now that when people got the full album, God Shaped Hole, they'll see all the layers, because it's vulnerable in parts, it's heavy in others, it's poppy in others, it's rocky. You know what I mean? It's got like loads of influences, but yet again, it's still Crows.
Absolutely. And we spoke to Shane on the last album cycle, and Inhale Exhale was a very personal album and covered a lot of tough times for you all, I think. So, God Shaped Hole, from the few listens I've had, is a lot more uplifting. It seems a happier album in general. Did you approach this album any differently?
Um, I think some songs were always being like jammed, but when like Shane puts pen to paper, there's always a story, there's always a personal connection, there's always that's what I do respect with his writing, from lyrics. Like, I remember I've said this on loads of interviews and I say it to Shane all the time. I used to write lyrics back in the day, and I'd always think of the hook line. And I never really think of the context, which is a really good way to. He always thinks of everything. So a verse is equally as important as the middle eight and the chorus. There's a full picture, there's a full story. He's quite clever at telling you one thing there, but yet again, it has a different meaning there. And I love that. I love that with jamming with him and starting to connect with some of with the songs and stuff. But no, I don't think we like overthink things too much. It's just the case of, like Dreaming, our latest single. I remember we were jamming that in the unit and we were just buzzing over it. It was just like, and then like Shane will bring Still to the table and we're like, that's got to go on the record. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And that was in its rawest format, him, acoustic guitar, just pure emotion, like, and then the context then of Still, and it's like, wow, you know what I mean? So, and then for me, there's still songs that haven't been released yet, like The Night Train, which I could have put that as a single, because that I can't wait to perform that live, like, it's and I'm into more my like punk rock or heavier stuff. But yeah, The Night Train is just like, it's got all the feels, like I said, and there's it's more like I don't know, like a more grown up version as well of us, as in, like, especially from my point of like drumming, it's like there's a lot more ideas, a lot more thought going into it, rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's like everybody headbang. You know what I mean? It's like complementing each other. So if he's writing lyrics like that and melody lines like that, then it's trying to complement everything. So it's exciting, man. This new album's got, yet again, dark, light.
Yeah,
It's quite a theme, I think, over the last couple of records. If you've heard it yourself, I think there's loads of layers in there. It's like, 1 minute it's like, your head's doing that, and then the next thing you get your tissues out, like, so.
yeah, absolutely. So, how soon after Inhale Exhale did you start thinking about writing this album?
I think, unfortunately, the world we live in at the moment, I think it was literally days. It was like, yeah, it was days. It wasn't long, put it that way. It wasn't, but yet again, I like, we were in practice the other day and Shane was jamming something. So that could be something that ends up in the future. There's songs we were demoing for God Shaped Hole that we haven't really revisit yet. There might be something there.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know, without sounding too doom and gloom, it's just the day and age we live in. Like, it's horrible for a band. It's almost like, right, cool, what have you got next?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Rather than like, when I used to take in music as a youngster, and I'd still prefer to have my music given to me and spend a lot of time taking it in. And I done an interview just now and he asked about singles and stuff, and I just said it's the way of the world at the moment. It's you don't have 3 songs and they're spread over months with long campaigns for singles. It's almost like, there's another song, there's another song, there's the album, right? What's next?
Absolutely.
It's like it's quite, and I think I've had my moan over the years. I think you just got to embrace it now.
Yeah.
This is what we signed up for. I think as long as those four boys enjoy it and I enjoy it, then the crowd will enjoy it and the fan base will enjoy it. And therefore it works. I think the moment one of us stop enjoying it, then this stops, doesn't it, really? The interest stops and everybody can't be bothered. Like, so.
So with the album, well, the promos for the album are with the press now. When the reviews start coming in, do you pay any attention to what people have to say?
Yeah, good and bad. Yeah, good and bad. It's always good to take in. None of us like are against criticism.
Mm.
Whether we agree or not, that's literally like that's our opinion. It's the same as somebody writing a review. It's their opinion. But yeah, we keep a lock on everything. Like, you know, social media, people say a lot more bad now than they used to good because there's a lot more people looking at our band. This is what we wanted. We wanted to be on the bigger level. We wanted to be up there with the big boys playing arenas. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, not everybody's going to like your band. You get announced for a festival. Oh my God, not them. You know what I mean? But equally, there's people going, oh, amazing, I'm going to go now. So they wouldn't have gone to that festival, but now they're going to go to that festival. So I just think it's like anything. You've just got to take the rough with the smooth, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't keep me up at night. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just a case of, because I might not like something as well, like, you know. So I think this is a good way to put it as well. Like, a reviewer might say our album's bad, etc., but I might not like the way he's reviewed it because he can't particularly write it very well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you an explanation, etc. It's just quite a lazy journalistic review, like, you know what I mean, rather than an actual thought, and they've really listened to it and gone, well, you know, blah blah blah. And there's a lot of reviewers then, or journalists or press, and they'll really spend time, and when they do criticize, there's a reason, and it's really well written, like. So yeah, equally it's all opinions, isn't it, bro? It's all opinions.
Absolutely. So you ended last year on a high, not quite a hometown show, but a huge show in the Cardiff Arena. How was that show for you? And did you ever think you'd be playing arenas in the UK?
Yeah, the short one is yes. We, you know, the goal is stadiums beyond. You know what I mean? So we never ever. It was brought in as an early example by Shane, which is great, of no glass ceilings.
Yeah.
Where I always kind of at one stage thought you have to be kind of, oh, you've got to be a bit realistic now, you know. But no, just aim really super high.
Yeah.
So no, I think we always had the belief that we can play an arena and we can put on an arena show. And I think there was a lot of people doubting that, but we pretty much set fire to that arena with the amount of pyro and everything, and the production. There was a lot of thought into the production of like what we wanted it to look like, and the team around us trying to make it happen within the money and the expenses that go with it. So no, I think that's the bar for the future. Really, is we'd like to be, you know, an arena band or a stadium band, or an event band as well, because like we've put on shows, whether it be in castles. So I like that as well, where it might be just kind of an obscure venue, or the grounds of somewhere which looks amazing, and that kind of like that event, like, you know what I mean? So but no, I don't think it's arrogant to say that. I just think it's belief, and belief in the boys, and belief in what we do, and the support we get off the Crow family is just another level, like, you know. So yeah, I think a stadium in the future would be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So how important was it to finish off what was effectively the last album cycle with a big Welsh show?
Stunning, a celebration. An absolute celebration. That's what it felt like. It felt like 10 years of hard graft and ups and downs and disappointments and amazing memories, and then to celebrate it with everybody who's ever bought a ticket in the past, everybody who's ever bought a record in the past, And for new fans who've never seen us before, that's what blew my mind. There was some people that was their first gig
Yeah.
to look at, like, which is mad. Which must have looked terrific from out there, like, everything kind of at the highest level, and then to kind of share it with your families as well. All of us got families in the band, so it was just really nice to see the other boys' families enjoying it, them seeing my family and friends, close friends, enjoying it. So yeah, it was a special night. And hopefully there's many more of them in the future.
Absolutely. So you've shifted back now. You're on tour in more intimate venues, I'd say, than the arena.
Yes.
Are you in Norwich at the moment? So how's that tour going?
Yep. Yeah, currently in Norwich now. I think we got sound check in about 40 minutes. Tour's going fantastic. I think the hint has been made throughout the night by Shane. It is the Underplay tour. I mean, the tour hasn't even got a name, which give it away. It's just called March 2024, rather than the obvious, which is the God-Shaped Hole tour. Or so I think it was just the fact of getting back out there, connecting with everybody. Mad thing is, there's people traveling from Germany now just to come over and experience, which is really cool for them because they've never had that in the UK. And then there's other people from the UK who have seen us 30, 40, 50, 60 times plus. And they are getting to see us close up again. And, some of the venues are really sweaty and intimate. So yeah, it's good. It's great fun. Like Norwich, we haven't been here. Never done a headline in Norwich. I think we last played you with Monster Truck, supported them. Prior to that was Stone Broken back in the day, but now we've sold it out. So it's nice to come back to a place that we've never headlined, sold it out. And then we played Froome the other night, the Cheese and Grain, which was an amazing venue. We've never played there, never supported there. Sold it out. And then we're going to Morecambe, and then we're going to the 100 Club. That's the Ed Spinner. But obviously, there's loads of news to come this year. I think this is going to be quite a big year for the Crows.
Absolutely.
A very big year.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, with your album out in a couple of weeks, what is next for the Crows for the rest of 2025 and even into 2026?
Well, 2025, the stuff I can say is obviously there's a lot more European tours again. There's a lot more work to be done in Europe. I think we've got some pretty special things to announce later on in the year, which is cool. Very cool. And then going into 2026, I think is the same as, I think we just want to play new territories. We were really lucky last week. We were in Sweden, which was a beautiful country, and their fan base from Takeda were accepted and amazing, and we picked up a lot of fans there. So that'd be somewhere that we'd like to revisit, and obviously more Scandinavian countries, along with other territories in Europe we haven't even touched yet. We haven't been to Spain. We haven't been to Belgium. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of places to go. And then, there's the big question that we keep getting asked all the time is, when are we going to America? So I hope that would be on the cards down the line, because there's a lot of people asking that same question now of, you'd go down really well in America, and there's a lot of big radio stations behind us at the moment who are saying, with the right support in America, you could be that band to kind of, I don't want to use the word break it, but, we could last, where a lot of bands have gone over there and it hasn't worked. But you don't know until you get that opportunity. So fingers crossed, 2026 could be that year. But I definitely know there's a lot of exciting stuff to announce this year, which will keep everybody happy as well. So
excellent. I look forward to you announcing all of that then. So,
yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure talking to you this afternoon. Good luck with your show tonight and the rest of the tour. And I wish you all the best with the album God-Shaped Hole, which is released via Earache on April the 11th.
Thank you very much, man. And thank you for all your support as well, dude. So, and I hope I see you on the road soon as well.
for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with all of our interviews by subscribing to our channel. For all the latest news, reviews, interviews, and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.